Welcome to episode 59 of Cougs on Cougs. I am Jess, here with Mary. We are officially into the month of March, which means March Madness.
Yes, which we love. Welcome back, by the way.
Yes. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I am back. For our team, it might also mean March Sadness. At least last night or Monday night.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yes, we will.
But we have some other stuff that will hopefully get our minds off of the St. Mary's loss, which likely landed us in the NIT. But we're going to get started with our quote, which does very much apply to that horrible loss that we had in Las Vegas. And our friend, Crazy Coug Fanatic, Pat Hammond, tweeted it out. And I asked her if it was a Chinese proverb. She said, no, it's a Pat proverb. So our quote of the week, notable quotable, says, some days you eat the bear, and some days the bear eats you. And some days the bear skins you alive, boils you in oil, and rips your heart out.
Ouch.
I mean, it's dramatic, but warranted.
That loss was pretty dramatic. Terrible.
I think it related well. So thank you to Pat for that quote of the week, and here's hoping that we never have to use a quote of the week like that ever again.
Yeah, so let's talk about football.
Yes, that is our distraction tactic. I hope it works.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so we are going to do a Keeping Up with the Cougars NFL Combine segment and talk about two of the Cougars that were in the Combine. That would be Harvey Longy and Jamal Williams.
Yes.
So let's start with Harvey.
Yeah, so the Combine ended Monday, so we've got all of our results. Yeah, Harvey is the first one we're going to talk about. Unfortunately, both Harvey and Jamal are kind of teetering in the mediocre category here, but I mean, it's better than dead last, right? So
definitely better than dead last.
So they grade them, and Harvey got a 5.13 grade, and to translate for you, that means that he has a better than average chance of making an NFL roster.
Which for Harvey I think is pretty good.
Yeah, and that category is third from the bottom, so it's not great, but I mean, it's not that you should still be training, which is the very, very bottom. So some other standouts for Harvey, he had 23 reps in bench press at 225 pounds, which is pretty impressive. He was listed as a top performer in the 20-yard shuttle, and he got a time of 4.32 seconds in there, came in at 5th out of 14. And he was also a top performer in the 3-cone drill. He did that in 7 seconds. You know, what's funny is he was actually faster than Jamal in, I think, pretty much every category,
I know,
which isn't great. But yeah, and he was also a top performer in the 60-yard shuttle. So 3 categories. His name was appearing here and there. I think he made a pretty good showing. I mean, he had a lot of ground to cover, because the thing that I did keep seeing about Harvey is all the scouts talking about what a disservice BYU did to him by switching his positions. And if you go back and watch his 2015 tape, then it's amazing. But if you watch his tape from last year, there's nothing special. So hopefully he made some headway making up ground for last year.
Yeah, I did think I read, though, that his top performances was with the defensive ends, not with the linebackers.
Yeah, he did. It was with the defensive ends. That's true.
So that's interesting.
So, I mean, versatile. Give him note for versatility. We'll see what happens to him, but I like that. At better than average chance of making an NFL roster, I'll take it.
Yeah. So Jamal Williams, he ended up with a 5.25 grade, so he's basically one higher than Harvey.
Which is kind of surprising considering Harvey was faster than him. I mean, different positions though.
Yeah, and different strengths for sure.
Yeah.
So what we've kind of been hearing is that he could be an NFL backup, or maybe has really good special teams potential.
Yeah, that's what
hopefully
his grade
more than
means.
that. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's supposed to be a pretty high compliment.
I'm sure it is.
It doesn't sound like one,
I don't
really.
think that's probably what he wants to do.
No.
So he had a 4.59 in the 40. Pretty good. 30-inch vertical, 123-inch broad jump, and then he was a little bit slower than Harvey, 7.25 second in the 3-cone drill, and then 4.53 20-yard shuttle. So what I kind of heard was that he didn't help himself too much, but he also didn't really hurt himself. He's basically,
and his draft stock was
advertised.
pretty good coming into it, so.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But happy times. Love seeing our Cougars there at the next level. So there's Keeping Up with the Cougars. Also in this football segment, we wanted to throw in some spring practice updates, and we don't actually have too terribly many. Randy and I mentioned a few last week. It's been a little bit quieter this week, and I think basketball kind of distracted even more.
True.
Which, you know what, maybe the coaches are grateful for.
Probably, but that's done now, so now everyone's going to want to focus on that. I mean, there's still going to be basketball next week. But
one thing that we did get is that Coach Tuiaki and Coach Kaufusi have switched coaching positions, which is crazy because Steve Kaufusi has been coaching the defensive line for a couple decades.
Yeah, that's really surprising to me, but...
So to be clear, Kaufusi will be doing linebackers and Tuiaki will be doing defensive line. I mean, what do you think?
I trust the coaching staff.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be fine. Hopefully we'll see the result of that and it'll be positive. But who knows at this point? I mean, it's so early to tell. You won't really know until you're in a game.
That's what we've got for your football portion there.
Oh, Talk the Town this week. I've kind of missed doing this segment last week. So first thing is we have a tweet from Cassidy Longy, who is Harvey's wife.
Yes.
Tweeting, got his eyes on the prize. #proudwife. So this is Harvey at the combine. What do you think of that hair?
We have just established we have different feelings about this. I hate it.
I kind of like it. But this is the only picture I've seen of it.
I mean,
recently.
Do you, Harvey? That's a natural look there.
I kind of like it.
We could have done this in the spring ball practice update, but we didn't. It's here. Oh well. This is from Jonah's mom, Trinman Clan on Instagram. Apparently, Jonah has a new number. He's going to be number 3. So he was 84 last year. I know he kind of wanted to get into the lower numbers. So this is the compromise. Stealing Colby Pearson's number.
Take it. Johnny Linehan had his wife had their little baby this week.
Yes.
And his name is Carter. So his birthday was actually on March 4th, which is also my brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Garrett.
Very cute.
So there's a little picture of the little guy. He's so little. So congrats to them.
Also in the way of family news, we have Kai Nakua, who got engaged. He proposed to a UNLV cheerleader, I think at a UNLV game. This picture is from @Sports8, who I assume covers UNLV, but you've got a picture of them hugging on the Jumbotron, which leads me to believe she said yes. So congratulations to Kai Nakua.
Yeah, I'd love to hear the story about that, how he came to know a UNLV cheerleader.
Well, he's from Vegas.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so gotta be that.
Easy. Is this our Jimmer segment?
Yes.
Basically?
Yes.
I always have a Jimmer segment.
Have to.
So Jimmer finished up his season in China.
He did.
And so now he's available to join an NBA team or whatever.
Yeah, he is.
So this is from Jody Genesee, DJ Jazzy Jody. It's so funny. He is young. He's afraid. Let him rest. Heaven blessed. Bring him home. It's from Laymiss.
#Cougs and culture. Love that. Laymiss with Jimmer. Time for him to come home.
This is one that I actually laughed out loud too because
so great.
So funny.
And to prove that he's deserving of at least some looks from some NBA teams, he did win the CBA MVP. He's the first player from the Shanghai Sharks to do it since a guy whose name is Yao Ming. So
yeah, pretty cool little trophy he gets to take home. And the best part, of course, is now he gets to go home and be with
his
Wesley and Whitney. So I'm sure he's very happy about that.
Yes.
So this is from Crazy Hook Fanatic, of course. Around this time of year, we always get her stocking pictures.
Resident Vegas.
So this one, of course, is with Jackson Emery. Now, you have to say what happened on Twitter.
Yeah, well, we all know we were pretty dang dejected by the second half of this game. And Pat was no exception. And she tweeted and she said that you knew she was despondent because Jackson Emery walked past her and she didn't go after him.
She didn't even move.
I had to tweet at her and I was like, come on, Pat, pull yourself together and go after him.
Go get that picture.
Yeah, I knew she would regret it, so I'm really glad she did. And that's a good picture.
It is a good picture. Always good to see Jackson Emery.
Yes, that's one of Jess's all-time faves right there.
Yes, it is. He is my number one, actually.
Also from Crazy Kook Fanatic.
So this is twins separated at birth. So this is Cosmo, obviously. And Fan Cosmo, I guess we will call him. I don't know what else to call him.
Yeah, we mentioned him a few weeks back, and I actually did find him on Twitter. It's at Bayoest, not to be confused with Stephen Bayo, but at BAOESTE. His name is Ben Nichols, and he's, your resident Cosmo dresser-upper. I don't know.
They had him do something at the game.
I know.
And he said he was from Southern California. So.
I told Pat to get us an interview with him. Maybe next time.
Greg Rillo, over the last 2 games, BYU Basketball has welcomed the 49th and 50th members to the 1,000 point club, and that would be 2 sophomores, Eric Mika and Nick Emery.
You know what? It's so funny because we get so discouraged and we get so upset and we are so unhappy about this season, but there's still things to be proud of. And I was watching Duke the other day. Emil Jefferson reached his 1,000th career point, and he's a senior, and we have 2 sophomores that did it. Yeah. So, I mean, take it for what you will, but that's impressive.
And Eric was also named the District Player of the Year. So that was pretty cool.
We care more about wins than points and awards.
Of course
but
we do.
Still cool. Gotta mention
Still
it.
Good players, even though they had a crappy game.
Okay, for our last thing, this is hilarious. This is from our friend Callie Tenney, who's at Calibra. And she said this was after the LMU game, which Jess was at, by the way. But Callie got grounded and she thought it was fair. She said she punched her sister because her sister called Stephen Bayo ugly. I think we both take issue with that. Of all the people you would call ugly.
Please.
He's a handsome dude. Come on.
He is. What's your deal?
So, you know what? Shout out. We had to give Callie a shout out. A well worth it grounding.
He got us to 50 points on Monday.
Gosh, okay.
Nothing else.
We're going to get there, unfortunately. Okay.
We're getting there next. I think that's all for Talking the Town.
We do have to talk about that basketball game.
Do we have to?
What? Yeah, I'm like trying to find the words and I can't. So we're going to try and be really succinct. We could obviously go on all night about what fell apart in that St. Mary's game. We're not going to dwell on it. We're going to try and go on to the next one mentality. But that one hurt. It hurt really bad. It was Ask Ken, #HireKen. It was our worst performance all season for so many reasons. But Coach Tyler, if you had to pick one or two, what went wrong?
For me, it was just the start. So the start of the game was actually pretty exciting because St. Mary's was missing shots.
Oh, yeah. It was even.
They were giving us so many chances, but we could not hit a shot. We just couldn't.
And St. Mary's was not going to keep up with that all night.
No, definitely not. I mean, they were going to start making stuff
not that you thought
eventually.
we were going to either, but...
But here's the thing with playing St. Mary's, is that the way they like to play, where they're so patient and they take so much time off the clock and they pass the ball around so much, it's really hard to play that way if you're behind. So I think if a couple of those threes at the beginning of the game, which they were really contested, so that was one of the problems.
Yeah.
If you get some open threes to go down early in the game and get a lead, even if it's like a 4-point lead or a 5-point lead or even
anything,
any lead at all, I think it changes how St. Mary's played. And, you know, if you watch the Gonzaga-St. Mary's game, that's exactly what the Zags did. They got an early lead, and it wasn't even a huge lead, and suddenly the Gales looked completely out of sorts because they didn't want to be patient anymore. They wanted to speed up. They wanted to catch up. So I do think a couple shots go down at the beginning of the game, and it might have been a totally different game, but it just completely snowballed from there.
Yeah, I think at some point you see the ball not go in the hoop, and there's no recovering from it. I mean, shooters gotta shoot, but like, at what point are you just like, man, we can't buy a bucket? And we definitely got to that point.
Well, the other thing too is that the defense was really good against St. Mary's in the beginning. You know, we were causing turnovers and getting them out of sorts and stuff. But you'd have things like a blocked shot or something, and then we wouldn't be able to track down the ball after that. Yeah. So they'd just get another possession.
If you're going to do that, you have to be able to score against everyone, but especially against St. Mary's. So I think you're really right. I think that if a couple shots fell at the beginning, then you're looking at an entirely different... It changed the whole tone. For me... I mean, it kind of ties in with what Coach Tyler was saying. I mean, your ultimate problem was that we did not score nearly enough points because St. Mary's, if you play, even if you play decent defense, you're going to have to match them. And their offense is incredible. So I saw a tweet from Jake Edmonds at Cougars, who said that at one point, and this was midway through the second half, that St. Mary's was on a 63-31 run. Basketball is a game of runs. And if you don't go on one at any point, you're not going to win. And did we go on I don't even have to ask. We did not go on a run.
We had a couple threes from TJ. That was as close as we got.
Yeah, and it didn't matter because they answered. So, I mean, it was just painful. I think you can see both mine and Jess's personal Twitter feeds for plenty more things that went wrong. We tried to keep a cool head, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about a game like that. Sometimes they happen and you just cannot for the life of you fix anything. Yeah. And it just sucks. There's nothing good from that.
I mean, it's just a giant snowball of things going wrong. Don't chime in with what you think went wrong. Let's just move on. Let's move on to what went right. We did have two games. You know what? What went right is we didn't lose to LMU, which we very easily could have done. I mean, there were some dangerous games in the first round of the tournament, and don't quote me on this, but I'd prefer to get beaten down by St. Mary's and have beaten LMU than to lose to LMU in the first round. Not that it ends up making a difference in the long run, but Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. You get beat that badly, and I don't know that it matters.
We're just putting spin on stuff now. Speaking of putting spin on stuff, Coach Tyler, what went right?
This is like really reaching, and I really don't even think it's that great.
No, it's something.
But we had 8 bench points. Yay!
We had 1 against LMU.
Out of our 50, so percentage-wise, that's pretty good comparatively.
Oh gosh,
but
it hurts.
Yeah, it was just that's when you let it sting for a while, and then you burn that tape and you never look back.
Short-term memory. We talked about this in the Doctor Is In. For me, this kind of more lighthearted one, and when I say lighthearted, I mean because he didn't. Eric did not break his neck.
Oh my gosh, that was so scary.
In the beginning, you never want to see a player in the air like that. No. Which is one reason why you're not supposed to leave your feet.
Yeah.
And Jock Landale was really nice about it, to Jock Landale's credit, helped him up, made sure he was okay. But yeah, that could have been
scary fall.
Moment.
Yeah. Ugh.
But in reality, my what went rights came against LMU. I wasn't bold enough to pick any from St. Mary's. We had 5 players in double digits. All of our starters were in double digits. Unfortunately, only 1 point came from the bench. But it was a pretty balanced attack. Offense felt pretty good. We shot 50% total and 43% from 3. I know both of us just felt positively demoralized on Monday night.
Everybody did. It was embarrassing. And obviously, no one feels worse than the team does. I mean, that was one of the things about it, because I think they were all so hyped, and they really thought they could win this game. And then when shots weren't falling, you can just see it in their faces. They're like, crap.
It affects you that much
happening?
More. It's true. And I feel like it really does hurt because I wanted that auto bid. And I know they wanted that auto bid. So...
And I think they really thought they were going to get it.
Which, you're right. Adds into the spiral. I mean, things start going wrong, and it's the end of the world. And we looked like it was the end of the world.
Yeah, we did.
So, as Dave Rose says, it looks like they didn't practice on Sunday. And for the record, they didn't.
Yeah,
It is what it is. On to the next one. What is the next one?
On to the next. So, the next will be the NIT selection show, which is this Sunday, right?
I mean, selection takes place from Friday through Sunday, so we'll know for sure by Sunday. Yeah.
So Sunday night you'll know after the NCAA tournament. Mm-hmm. So games would be March 14th and 15th. So that's next Tuesday and Wednesday. We are being projected as a 3 seed, maybe a 4 seed, but
either one would mean we have home game.
Right.
Which is fun. That's fun. I know. I'm still depressed.
Fun.
I can't.
Hey, it's another game. I don't know. I mean, this is a chance to really,
get the bad taste out of your mouth.
Yeah, maybe fix some things and then put in a lot of work in the offseason.
We do have to touch on this really quickly. Everyone's talking about the BYU-Utah matchup in the NIT. We're talking about projections from nycbuckets.com, which we'll link to. Utah and BYU are on different sides of the bracket, so the only time they would match up would be in the Final Four, or I think even in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. We said we were going to have a 2-minute drill about this, but I think Jess came over to my side yesterday, so we decided not to.
Oh, yeah. Before that beatdown from St. Mary's, I was like, we should totally play Utah in the NIT. That would be fun. And now I'm like, please no.
And now she understands my mentality where it's not worth the risk. I mean, beating Utah would be amazing, but it is not. Like I've been saying, the only thing that could make this season worse at this point is losing to Utah.
Amen.
But if we make a run good enough to get that deep into the Final Four of the NIT, then maybe I'll feel differently. So anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. The projections obviously aren't always right, so we'll tweet out the information for sure. But yeah, first round March 14th, 15th, so that'd be next week. Then you've got games on the 16th through the 20th.
Yeah, can I just say, if we're on opposite side of the brackets from them, that would mean championship game.
Yeah.
So that would be fun.
That would be fun. But we're one game at a time. Hello, if we've learned anything about this team.
Show's brought to you this week by ESPN 960, which we will be co-hosting today from 3 to 6. So tune in with Ben Criddle.
Yeah,
we'll be on the radio.
That'll be fun, right?
Yep.
And our second sponsor is actually Gonzaga. We wanted to personally thank them, although I'm sure they didn't want to do us any favors for giving St. Mary's the beatdown that we wanted to give them, but couldn't.
Yep, that's about all we can say about that.
May you always stay loyal to the white and blue. For Jess, I'm Mary. We'll see you next week.